Hello, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to try to boil water without adding any heat at all. Now we're going to do that by putting water in a vacuum chamber. We're going to see what happens when we do that. But before we do the vacuum chamber, I'd like to show you an even easier way to do this. I have a little syringe here, and what we're going to do is fill it with hot water, and I will try to pull a vacuum or make the pressure on top of the water lower by pulling the plunger back. Let's see if we can get it to boil inside of this, and then we'll show you something at a larger scale in the vacuum chamber. And along the way, we're also going to show that when water boils, the temperature of the water, surprisingly, actually goes down, which is totally opposite of what we would all expect. Okay, here I am back with some very hot water. It's not boiling, but it's very hot. And then what I'm going to do is draw some of it up into this syringe, and we'll get the air out of it just by pushing up like this. I have a little piece of rubber here, and then I'm going to pull down. Notice that as I pull down, it is boiling there. Wow, that is really cool looking. Look at the bubbles going up. When we lowered the air pressure above the liquid, we effectively lowered the boiling point. So now let's do this on a larger scale. Let's reduce the pressure of the water by putting the water in a vacuum chamber, and let's measure the temperature of the water as we reduce the pressure. Okay, here we have a beaker of water. Let's go ahead and put the thermometer inside and see what it is. By the way, I added some food coloring to this just to make it a little easier to see. So we're at 72 Celsius. Remember, 100 Celsius is boiling, so we're not boiling. Let's go ahead and put the chamber on and fire it up. Okay, water in a vacuum chamber. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, vacuum on. All right, 72.2. We're about 3/4 of an atmosphere. Notice the temperature is starting to drop almost immediately. We'll talk more about why that happens in just a second. But let's just take a look and see. We're at about 1/2 of an atmosphere. 71.3, 71.1. Temperature's coming down very, very repeatably. And notice it's starting to boil very vigorously. Actually starting to splash out of the container. 68, 67. Let's see how far we can get down. Let's see if we can get down close to the freezing point of water. 62. Now here we are at about 1/4 of an atmosphere. Obviously we're doing a lot of splashing. Now why is it boiling? We're not adding any heat. This is equivalent to taking something to the top of a mountain and trying to boil it. Everything boils easier at a lower temperature at a higher elevation because the pressure is lower. And the reason why is because the action of boiling is basically the molecules trying to get away from the bulk liquid, but they're fighting against atmospheric pressure, which is pushing down. So when we add heat, all we're doing is adding enough thermal energy and agitation for them to break the bonds, break the intermolecular attraction, and fly away. So if we reduce the outside pressure, we just make it easier for the liquid to escape. And that's why it's able to boil at a much lower pressure here. All right, we're at 39 degrees Celsius. I know it's a little hard to see here with the fog. All right, that's about as good as this vacuum pump can go. I can let it go longer. It'll get a little bit lower in temperature, but this vacuum pump just can't do much more than this. So the real question is, why does the temperature of the water go down? We always think about boiling as something getting hotter and getting hotter and hotter, and so it boils. So why did we allow it to boil at a lower pressure without adding any heat? We already talked about that. That's just because we're removing the extra force on the outside, and that allows the water to escape off to the surface. That's what we call boiling. But why did the temperature go down? Well, when you think about it, inside of the liquid are molecules of water at different energies. Some of the molecules are traveling really, really fast. Those particular molecules have a higher energy. And some of the molecules are moving slower. And so some are fast and some are slow. And the ones that are traveling really, really fast eventually make their way to the surface, and they can escape and go straight up in to the vapor state. right? But the ones that are slower, they don't have quite enough energy to escape, even at the lower pressure. So what happens is, when we see the liquid boiling, what's really going on is the fraction of the water molecules that have enough energy to escape, the hotter ones in other words, those are the ones that fly away. So the ones that are left behind have to be colder. They have to be traveling slower, otherwise they would have already escaped. So that's why the temperature goes down, because when we're measuring the temperature with this, we're measuring the temperature of the liquid that's left behind. So if all of the molecules that had enough energy to escape go ahead and leave the liquid, then everything left behind must have a lower energy. And so it's getting colder and colder and colder. In other words, the energy of the boiling, instead of coming from an external heat source like your stove, it's coming from the internal energy of the molecules that was already present. So we're tapping that internal energy and we're sending the hotter ones away. So what's left behind, they have to be a lower energy, which means a lower temperature. And so we see the temperature go down. Now, we never ever notice this on the stove, because the way that we get things to boil on the stove is we're adding energy from below in the form of a flame. So we see ourselves making the thing hotter and hotter and hotter. But what's really going on, if you think about it, once you reach a boil, the temperature of the water never gets above 100 Celsius. Even though we're dumping energy in, we should be making the water hotter. But if you boil water and measure the temperature, it can never be more than 100 Celsius at sea level. The reason is because if a molecule ever had more energy than that, it would just escape and it would leave everything else behind that was less than 100 Celsius. So we're dumping energy in all the time on the stove, but the liquid state cannot ever get above 100. And so it kind of makes sense that we're losing energy constantly from the water surface. And we can see that as a reduction in temperature here. We don't see the reduction in temperature on our stove because we're constantly adding heat from the bottom. Notice that the water has stopped boiling. Well, what happened was, as soon as we turned the vacuum pump on, we lowered the pressure, and then some of the water started boiling, and the hotter molecules started to escape. And that cooled down the remaining liquid that was there. Eventually, the temperature of the liquid that was left behind is low enough where at the pressure of this vessel, it was not hot enough to boil anymore. If I had an even better vacuum pump and a better vacuum chamber and can pull an even lower vacuum, then this water would continue boiling again. But at this point, at this moment in time, the pressure in this chamber, the pressure forcing down on top of the surface of the water, is just a little bit too high for the temperature of the water. In other words, we lowered the temperature of the water below the boiling point at this pressure. All right, so now we're gonna let the pressure back up to atmospheric and see how hot this thing really is. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it back in. And just a few minutes ago, this thing was piping hot and our last temperature was around 30 Celsius. I should be able to put my finger in it, and it is actually cool to the touch. It's not even warm. When I put this thing in here just a few minutes ago, it was steaming as it was just under boiling. And we reduced the temperature where I can put my finger in this thing, no problem at all. It's literally cooler than lukewarm, just a little bit cooler. And if, in fact, I had a better vacuum chamber, and you could pull a lower and lower vacuum, then what you could do is actually reduce the temperature. Notice it got down to around 30 Celsius. 0 Celsius is freezing. If we could reduce the pressure even more, then that water in there would actually freeze into ice. One day, maybe I'll get a better vacuum pump. I can't do it with this one. I can't get quite low enough. But basically, you can keep boiling this thing so that you can reduce the temperature enough to make ice without putting it in the freezer at all. What's really going on, again, you have these water molecules, which are a bent molecule. The only thing you need to know about water is it's called polar, which means half of the molecule is positive and the other half of the molecule is negative. So these are hydrogens, H2O. The red one is oxygen. But the oxygen can take these electrons which are being shared between the atoms, and it can pull them closer to the oxygen. And it can pull these on the other side closer to the oxygen. So this oxygen is very slightly negative on the molecule, and these hydrogens, because of the electron pulling, they're very slightly positive. So when an adjacent water molecule gets close, if the positive hydrogen becomes into contact with the negative oxygen, then it'll have an attraction and it'll tend to stick there. And then thermal energy will make it bounce away, but it'll be a little sticky there. And so because the oxygen is exposed, there's a lot of attraction between water molecules because it's polar like this. And what we're doing when we're boiling water is we're adding energy on the stove. In the case of the stove, we're adding energy in the form of heat, making these things move faster and faster and faster, and they can overcome this little attraction between the water molecules, right? And they can escape into the vapor phase. Again, they're pushing against atmospheric pressure to escape, but they also have to overcome the molecular attraction because water is polar. Now, in the case of the vacuum pump, we didn't actually add any heat, we just lowered the pressure. But the heat that was already in the liquid was enough to get it to overcome these intermolecular attractive forces after we reduced the outside air pressure. It was easier for the water to escape. Now we can see that in the phase diagram of water. 1.013, this is in bars, so this is 1 atmosphere. This is equivalent to 1 atmosphere of pressure. We have the solid phase of water, we have the liquid phase of water, and the gas phase of water. So here at 0 Celsius, then we have ice melting, and then if we keep adding heat up to 100 degrees Celsius, eventually it turns to the vapor state. This is what we're experiencing all the time when we boil water on the stove, solid, liquid, gas. But if we reduce the pressure, let's go down here, then we still have solid, we have a little bit of liquid phase, not as much, and then we have a vapor phase. But notice that the boiling point here is much lower, whereas at atmospheric pressure, it's 100 Celsius, but down here, if we lower the pressure, then the boiling point is actually lower. And the reason it's lower is what I've been telling you. When you reduce the outside force on the water, it's easier for all the molecules to escape, so it doesn't take as much heat or as high of a temperature to get it to boil. So that's what we did. We lowered the pressure, and that in turn lowered the boiling point, so immediately started boiling. And then the temperature of the water that was left behind got colder because the hottest water molecules escaped. And to the point where when I take it out of the chamber, I can stick my finger in it and it cooled off much, much faster than it would have maybe even in a freezer. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting and entertaining. Please drop me a line. Let me know what you think. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Learn anything at mathandscience.com.